Welcome back, my friends. I am here with some esteemed guests. I've got Mohsin Shafqat, Senior Manager, Software Development at Nasdaq, and Charles Feddersen, Microsoft Azure Head of PostgreSQL and MySQL. I'm so excited to be here. I'm a data nerd. I'm excited to hear, what do you do at Nasdaq? I'm sure there's a ton of cool data stories there.
Right, so I'm a Senior Manager of Engineering. I work in the governance solution area of Nasdaq, and I work on the Boardvantage platform. I have a lot of fingers and a lot of pies. I lead a team of engineers. I'm also heading the AI transformation of the Boardvantage platform.
So let's start first with you, because I like you, but I'm interested in the data.
Yeah, I'll be over here if you need me.
So at Nasdaq, I'm always, this is probably wrong, I assume that there's just financial data, but you're in a whole other area where you have, the velocity, variety, and the volume of data is just all over the place. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so obviously Nasdaq has different divisions. As I said, I work in the governance solutions part. What we do is basically we are allowing our customers to have a smart board portal. So if imagine that you are a big public company and you want to have your meetings, you have a lot of confidential data that is used to make strategic decisions. We allow you secure communications. You can upload documents. You can schedule your meetings. And then now with AI, we are enabling contextual insights into your upcoming meetings. We are giving you the ability to create executive summaries of smart documents. Board packets are large. They could be 400 to 600 pages. Creating summaries manually can take a lot of time. So we are helping you save that time. And then with the AI-generated meeting minutes, a process that manually takes up to 2 weeks, our tool can do that in less than 5 minutes for you.
So when we're talking about Boardvantage, I didn't know, is this a service for boards to look at the financials of organizations?
Yeah, so it's a service for boards to basically enable secure communication. You can schedule your meetings, as I said. You can upload a lot of information. You can do surveys, approvals. So it's basically a lot of content management that happens there as well.
Because look, I was trying to be smart one day and try to invest correctly, and I looked at some of these financials of big companies. It's a lot of data.
It is.
And it's not just like, here's a bunch of, it's like text and other stuff. So Boardvantage helps people. How does AI sort of infused into Boardvantage to make people do stuff?
Yeah, so with AI, we are helping directors, making their life easier. We are making corporate secretaries' life easier. So if you're a director, you're heading to a meeting, you're probably busy, you're on a lot of boards of different organizations, and you probably don't have the time to read all that material. So with contextual insights, what we do is you have an upcoming meeting, let's say in a week, right? You're like, I don't want to go and read through all of that. You just click on the meeting, the AI tells you what you should be preparing for. And then if you have any questions, something you don't understand, it's an assistant that you can then start chatting with, and it's going to give you more information into what the meeting is about, who's attending the meeting, any other thing that you would like to know. Right now, we are planning to launch this in the meetings module, but then we're going to expand this to the entire platform. And then if, again, you're a corporate secretary and you want to quickly create meeting minutes, this helps you really lighten your workload. And if you want to create summaries of executive documents, it gives you a very good summary in a executive summary format.
Yeah, and I'm just realizing, there's like top-down learning and there's bottom-up learning. Bottom-up learning is when you have a bunch of time to just relax and learn this stuff. But sometimes you got to be quick. And top-down learning is where you get the nuggets that you need and dive into what you need when you need it. I feel like Boardvantage is going to do this for people that have to understand a company.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how Microsoft is helping.
Right. I mean, that's, I could speak for hours on that. We don't have hours. I think Microsoft has helped us on two major fronts. One was our cloud transformation. So we used to operate in the data center. When we decided to move to the cloud, it was a no-brainer because we serve more than 4,500 organizations worldwide. Most of them are already on the cloud. So when we are onboarding them, it's easier to speak the same language in terms of data security, privacy, cross-region deployments, and all of that. So Azure really helped there when we were moving to the cloud. We found all the tooling needed. We had for all the infrastructure, we had a one-to-one mapping into Azure, and then obviously with things like Azure Key Vault, it helps us secure all the customer information as well. Because as I mentioned, there's a lot of sensitive customer data that is used to drive strategic decisions. And then on the second front, They have really helped drive our innovation forward with AI. We are a big user of the Microsoft Foundry with all the Foundry models within AI.
Thank you. That's where I work. Thank you. Thank you. And then afterwards, tell me all the stuff we need to fix too. Yeah. So how are you using Foundry?
Yeah. So I mean, we deploy the models within the Foundry. We have various workflows, as I mentioned earlier, with the three things that are in production right now. So we deploy the model, we expose it via APIs. It's all deployed in our own tenant. It's extremely important for a product like Boardvantage to maintain data separation for our customers. So that's one of the conversations that we have with our customers when we are onboarding them into AI. They're like, is my data going to become part of the bigger AI thing? Are you using it to train the model, right? So with Foundry, obviously you get that segregation. We can do data zone deployments. So like, for example, if we have a customer in Australia, that model is deployed within that region and the data is processed within that region as well. And
we also have VNets, if you don't know. So it's, you can be in a private, it's really cool.
We are actually using that heavily. Absolutely, yes.
That is amazing. And the cool thing, as you were telling me, is if organizations that want to be part of Boardvantage are already using Azure, a lot of that stuff just comes over for free.
Exactly, yeah. And not just that, but it's, again, as I said, they understand how Azure works. And then when we say, okay, we are deploying our stuff on Azure, then it's a very easy conversation to have because they understand all the security measures that are in place, because data security for us is paramount.
That's awesome. So we kind of left Charles there, but I really love talking to customers about their data because like that's really the thing you're mining for to get the insights, and it's cool that you're able to put a bunch of stuff together, not just like a storage or there's a ton of stuff. But we're talking about Ignite. What's new here at Microsoft Ignite that people should maybe take a look at?
Yeah, so Mohsin and I have been working together because they're building extensively on Postgres on Azure today. Leveraging the vector indexes that Postgres is actually quite famous for. At Ignite, we announced a new Postgres service called HorizonDB, which really just raises the bar for our performance, scalability, with all of the security built in that Mohsin talked about. So it's been a big announcement, seemingly landed very well, so we're very excited about it. And Mohsin and I are talking about when we could potentially get Nasdaq to start kicking the tires a little bit as well.
So tell me about HorizonDB. Is it just a new database? Is it a new way of scaling? Because believe it or not, when I went to school, I taught relational theory when I was a grad student. So I love databases. I love the thought of how Postgres is it's a really cool database. Yeah. What are you doing to make it better, faster, or stronger?
So look, Horizon is the database for you, Seth.
Okay. Right? Okay. All right. Tell me.
So let me make that. I can make this. So it's based on Postgres. Okay. Right? It runs Postgres at the core. And really what we've done is we've made it sort of an innovation at the storage layer so that every time you store and commit data into the Postgres database, it is Postgres, we store it across all availability zones by default. So you get that sort of out-of-the-box availability across a region with Azure. And sort of part of the architectural benefit of that is that things like failovers become incredibly quick. You can sort of fail over in low single-digit seconds, fail back. So all of those key enterprise characteristics are there, right? The availability, the security, Entra, private endpoints, out of the box are all there. But then at the other end of the spectrum, because Postgres is so in demand and popular amongst developers, people are building apps like Boardvantage on Postgres. We've done work in vector indexing as well. So Boardvantage today depends on pgvector, which is the sort of open source standard. We ship that in Horizon, but then we're also putting Microsoft's disk ANN vector indexing as well, which sort of adds more scalability and performance as well through some advancements we've made in things like filtering and enhancements like that. So we're really thinking holistically about Horizon. There's a whole class of those classic enterprise features that you need, but developers are a huge customer base that we want to ensure that we're supporting for all of their AI needs. And so that's the plan.
That's awesome. So as I'm sitting here, I want to make sure people understand, because people say vector DBs. Everyone's like, oh yeah, we totally knew that. Can you explain to them why they're actually so cool? To me, it's a new flavor of indexing that's much more intelligent and does much, because obviously you're using it. Why are you using it and how is it helping you? And then we'll get into like how HorizonDB is implementing it.
Right. So I mean, imagine a traditional database, right? You've a bunch of data that's stored in there, and then you want to do a lookup. So you're going to write a SQL query. You're going to select based on this ID, this name, and you're looking for a particular field. With vectorization, now you can basically write a natural language query, and it's going to give you all the matching rows. So that makes life really easy when you are doing lookups in the context of AI.
Yeah.
So now imagine our board assistant or any other assistant, how that would work. Your user writes a query. You're like, okay, let's go and match it with whatever we've saved in the embeddings in the database. You get a bunch of information, then you process that with natural language. So your context is definitely much, much richer, and it's much faster as well.
And the thing that people don't understand, this is cool. We're going to get nerdy. So everyone be warned. The coolest thing about this is it will take a phrase that is in the record of the database, it will put it into vector space. And then if I have a phrase and I want to know about X or Y or Z, those phrases are converted to vectors and they measure the angle between them.
Yeah.
And
Cosine
it's
similarity.
so fast.
Yeah.
It's so fast that you're able to actually semantically ask the database, tell me about X or Y, and you get semantic meaning. And it's pretty fast. Tell us why is it so fast, and how does HorizonDB help?
So,
by the way, there's a slide of HorizonDB. Should we get that up while we talk about HorizonDB?
Yeah, if we've got it, let's throw it up. So so one of the challenging things about vectors, just before we get to the perf, these present a level of scale that many relational databases have not had to deal with before. Right? If you think about a table of data that's got a whole bunch of text in it, and you create vectors for it, text might be 100 or 200 bytes. Vectors or embeddings can be 3, maybe 6 kilobytes of data. It's a lot of data that when you amplify or multiply that across millions of rows, these databases get big quickly. So a lot of the motivation behind Horizon was bigger storage and then more scalable compute so that you can store these vectors and process them efficiently. That's sort of the brute force approach, but then the efficiency through disk ANN that we've done at the indexing is how we push filtering further down into the graph so that we can basically eliminate a lot of, the same way any index works in the database, right? You want to hit as small amount of data as you can to find what you want, and the filtering that we've put into disk ANN lets you do exactly the same thing.
Yeah, and I love again, I'm a little bit of a nerd, maybe some of us are here. I love how with databases, we get as close to physics as we can with speed and efficiency. So as you've been going and learning about HorizonDB, it's a new thing. What do you think? This is the real test. Don't look at him, just look at me, look at them. What are you thinking about HorizonDB? Is it going to be something that Nasdaq can use?
Well, definitely. There's a lot of potential, as Charles mentioned, without looking at him. We are currently using Postgres with PG Vector enabled, and it works pretty well for our production workloads, but we are also looking to scale up with the board assistant product that we are building. So now we are going to have to look through millions of embeddings because we have tons of customer data that we have stored over the last many years that we've been in the market. Having a product that can do fast lookups, query optimization, fast disk ANN, I mean that's godsend for us.
Yeah, and I tell people AI is awesome, but it's only as good as your data hygiene and quality.
Right.
Are you finding that to be true for Boardvantage?
Oh, absolutely. And we've learned that the hard way and the fast way as well. Because again, like you said, it's all about the context that you provide AI. For us, based on the segment of market that we operate in, it's all about providing accurate data to our customers because, I mean, we have to get rid of all the hallucinations. Yeah. So using tools like Postgres with PG Vector, using document intelligence, it's really helping us to refine that context. We were not using document intelligence before. We were trying to do semantic chunking ourselves. And it worked, but sometimes it wasn't very accurate, right?
It's tricky.
So yeah, with document intelligence, it becomes very easy to maintain that context. Yes.
Awesome. So how should people find out more about HorizonDB?
So HorizonDB, we've got a launch blog and the product pages are online. It's in a limited preview right now, so you can sign up if you're interested. We're going to start onboarding people in the coming weeks, and then I think we'll open the doors a little wider early in 2026.
So last word advice that you have for people that are trying to make these kinds of applications that want to maybe replicate some of the successes you've had?
There are well-known tools. I would say explore them. If you have a partnership with Microsoft, and he did not pay me to say that, explore those things because chances are, because things are moving so fast, somebody's already done it. So do not try to reinvent the wheel. Most of the things are already out there. There's a lot of tons of open source tools as well. You can get started with that and then scale up.
So this has been awesome. I'm glad we got to nerd out a little bit. It's good to see people doing really cool stuff, and it's good to see how we're enabling people. Yeah. Thank you so much. To learn more, go to aka.ms Nasdaq Story and aka.ms HorizonDB Ignite blog. Thank you so much.